Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, knee replacement is revolutionary, but is it always the answer? We have information you need to know. Then we'll promote the important power of a power of attorney. Medicare Open Enrollment will end soon. We'll offer advice and options. Plus, we can thank him for the memories. We'll pull back the curtain on an exhibit about the one and only Bob Hope. And once a will is read, what are your rights? Trust us to tell you.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. We're on location at Metro Health Studio, and we have a question for you. Do you think you need a knee replacement? You may have second thoughts after we share a second opinion. Dan Zalewski is here with options for your knee arthritis other than an operation. Dan is a physician assistant in orthopedics at Metro Health. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Lately, I mean, it seems like getting a knee replacement is just sort of a rite of passage. You get to a certain age and there you go.
Well, it doesn't have to be, and we try to not let it be a rite of passage. We look at a knee replacement as the last resort when it comes to treatment for knee arthritis. Arthritis is a loss of cartilage. So here's a model of the knee, and you see the blue stuff here is all cartilage. That creates a nice smooth articular surface for the joint to glide upon.
Okay.
But as we age, and we think it has a lot to do with genetics, the main cause, this cartilage can wear. And when it wears out, that's the definition of arthritis. Oh, okay. Now, the way we approach treatment of arthritis is to relieve pressure from the knee itself. So if you can focus on strengthening, muscle strengthening, if you can focus on keeping weight off the body, for every 1 pound of body weight you have, you're putting about 7.5 pounds of pressure on the knees. And that's just walking around. That's not doing anything more extraneous. If you can keep pressure off of that, then you can control the pain. And if you can control your pain with arthritis, then you don't need a knee replacement.
You don't want that surgery
just yet. You do not.
So why wouldn't you want the surgery? I mean, how hard is the surgery?
The surgery is something not to be taken lightly. It takes a certain mindset to get into something like a knee replacement. Of all the joint replacements, the knee is probably the most painful to recover from. It takes a good 6 months of recovery time and really hard work to get the real full benefit of the knee replacement itself. If you're not willing to put in that work, or you think that, you know, when you wake up and the surgery's done, you're cured, you're not going to be happy with the knee replacement. You're going to go back to stiffness and pain. Okay, so when the cartilage kind of wears down, it doesn't grow back, so, right? No, there's certain types of things that we can do to try to promote cartilage growth, but when it comes to arthritis, that's not really an option. That's more reserved for a young person with a sports injury that has a big chip of cartilage taken out. We can try to grow some of that back. But when it comes to degeneration from arthritis, there's no getting it back. Once it's gone, it's gone. What we try to do is relieve the pain and the pressure. Okay, so one is lose weight. You mentioned that already. How about exercise? Are there specific exercises for this? Absolutely. We try to make sure that patients go to physical therapy, or at the very least are doing exercises on their own to strengthen the quadriceps muscles, the thigh muscles, because they take a lot of pressure. If they're strong enough, they can take a lot of the pressure off of the knee. Okay, so what specific types of exercises? We do straight leg lifts, where you have your knee in full extension, your leg in full extension, and you're lifting. And repeating like that, putting ankle weights on if that gets easy, and then same exercise, we tilt out to the side like this. If this is your foot, and you're tilting out to the side like that. And those are two exercises you can do that isolate specific quadriceps muscles. Okay, so if you've tried all of that and you're still in pain, then it really comes to surgery? Possibly. There are cortisone injections that we can attempt. There are gel shots that you can do. Of course, anti-inflammatory medications like Motrin, Advil, Aleve, or prescription strength versions of those are very helpful. You know, if all else fails and you've tried everything and your life is revolving around your pain and you have none of this stuff left, then yeah, we advise the patients consider it. However, you have to consider it at a certain age. You really want to stave off getting a knee replacement before your 60s. These have a shelf life of about 10 to 20 years. Okay. And
you don't want to have to go through it again.
No, you really don't. It's not the same procedure the second time around. It's much more difficult.
Okay, wow. Coping with knee arthritis may not be easy, but there are options you need to implement before surgery is the only solution, since those changes could actually help. And as Metro Health says, change is healthy. My thanks to Dan for this need-to-know information.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
To learn more, call Metro Health at 216-778-7800 or log on to www.metrohealth.org. Next, the perils of being powerless. But first, it's time to trot out those turkeys for a Thanksgiving feast this Thursday. And while eating for hours is an excellent idea, we're thankful for another edible inspiration, which arose as a result of a major mistake on this harvest holiday. What was it? We'll serve up the answer when we return.
Let's all wake up to better health. Breathe it in and let it all out. Find a partner, an ally, a Metro Health doctor who will listen as long as it takes, so you can celebrate every day by living it your way. Get your physical, checkup, regular screening at Metro Health, and wake up every day to better health. Change is healthy.
In 1952, when a Swanson employee accidentally ordered 260 tons of turkey, a salesman sold the idea of putting these turkeys on aluminum trays with savory side dishes. Consumers tuned in to these TV dinners, and within 1 year, 10 million were sold and swallowed.
You've heard us talk about the importance of a power of attorney from a legal perspective, but it is also a must-have from a financial point of view. Jim Lineweaver is here with proof positive why a POA is so important. Jim is a certified financial planner professional with the Lineweaver Financial Group. So welcome back to the show.
Good to see you.
So first, briefly remind us, what is a power of attorney?
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe we should reverse roles here, but I'll do my best. Let's put it that way. Thank you. But in any event, a power of attorney is going to appoint an agent to act on your behalf. And traditionally, they're either going to be acting on a healthcare side or a financial side. But in addition to that appointment, you really just don't want it to be general, because that'll be able to execute things while everything's okay with you and you're in good shape, but you really want it durable, because if you become disabled or incapacitated, that's really when these kick in, to have somebody else step in your shoes and handle your affairs when you can't do that anymore. So very important to be durable.
So you don't want the court involved, so you really got to have that paper.
Exactly. Did I do an okay job? Was that okay?
Good,
yeah.
No,
okay,
yeah,
good.
So, another future for you.
Oh, there you go.
A lot of couples think, though, that because they're married, that the spouse has the right to do all of those things for them, and that's not really true.
No,
correct?
This is the biggest misconception that I constantly run into with people that come into our office. They're like, we're married, I can handle everything for that spouse. Well, no, if you're just joint on anything, great, you can. So on your house and on your savings account, checking account, all that's fine. But they'll say, well, I'm also a beneficiary. Well, I can just take care of it then. Well, the person has to die before that gets executed. So what happens is when these people or spouse, loved one gets incapacitated, people don't realize anything individually in that other person's or that disabled person's name, you have no control over. It's like they're a total stranger. And you're going to have to petition the court and get a legal document, maybe appoint somebody as yourself as a guardian. But that's a big process when you may need money in a short order. So it's a huge misconception in the industry.
important problem. But there's other problems that can come up too. So can you tell us a few of those?
There is. So I mean, if cash flow was a crunch and you all of a sudden want another distribution, or you want something turned off, or to try to handle things from a state perspective to maybe get some things or gifted out of the estate because this person may not be coming back from incapacity, again, can't do it. So your hands are tied in so many ways, and this is just such an easy legal document to get that most people overlook it, and it's really a shame.
But I think some people are worried about the power that a power of attorney gives someone else over their assets.
That's true. That's true. And what I've seen sometimes is people will get this document done and then they won't tell the individual, and they also won't give it to anybody. So they're kind of hoarding it, and it's not going to do any good either. So you are giving somebody some pretty serious powers. So you have to make sure you trust them. You have to make sure that they're going to act on your best behalf, and you want to tell them. I mean, they may not want this responsibility, but it's important, and you know, everybody should be involved in these type of legal documents.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So in addition to letting the person know that they may have to step into this role, how else can you make things set things up so it's easy in an emergency?
Well, a lot of people forget. They think that if we just have this paper that it's going to be fine, and I'll just get it in. And matter of fact, for our clients, we have a vault. So we have an online system that people can store this document, and if they need it, they're traveling, whatever, snowbirds, they can take that and take care of it. And it's good. It's a nice, easy operation. However, a lot of companies require their own paperwork as well. So they like your document, but you're also going to have to sign off on something else. And so therefore, make sure you get all that stuff done ahead of time so you don't find out that it's really not in effect, or you can't use it the way you thought you could after the fact.
All right, excellent tips, just like I would have done with it.
All right, I passed.
A power of attorney is important for your wealth and your well-being. Don't wait. Take steps now to protect you and your loved ones. Need help in understanding the financial factors in this legal document? Give Jim a call. His number's next.
For more information, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or click to www.lineweaver.net. Next, act before open enrollment ends. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. After you face Black Friday, why not flee to the West Side Flea, which is free? On Saturday, November 26th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., discover art and antiques, food and performances, apparel and upcycled items, and more. It's all at 3550 Crocker Road in Westlake. And for details, find them on Facebook, www.facebook.com/westsideflea.
Feel like a change, or do you like things the way they are? Either answer is acceptable when it comes time for Medicare Open Enrollment, but both require some review. Abby O'Brien is here to review for us the options that are available and why they need our attention right now. Abby is the Director of Broker Sales, Individual and Government Programs for Medical Mutual of Ohio. Welcome back to the show.
Great to be here, Lori.
So why is Medicare Open Enrollment so important?
Well, it's so important because this is the one opportunity that you have throughout the year to make that change. So evaluate your plan. Is it working for you? Look at other options. Do you like the way your prescriptions are covered? Are your doctors in the network? And the important thing to remember is you only have until December 7th to make that change, and it will start January 1st. So still a little bit of time, but it's important to
now.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the difference between Medicare and Medicare Advantage?
So Original Medicare is the federal government's program. It's parts A and B. Part A being your hospital coverage, Part B being your doctor coverage. Medicare Advantage is administered by private insurance companies, and there are some key differences between the two. So if you have Original Medicare, you have a co-insurance and there's no out-of-pocket maximum. Medicare Advantage plans have a specific out-of-pocket max, so you know the most you'll pay every year. Original Medicare doesn't cover prescriptions. Most Medicare Advantage plans do have prescription benefits built in. Another thing you want to consider is that Original Medicare does give you the flexibility to go see any doctor that accepts original Medicare, whereas a Medicare Advantage plan is going to have a doctor network. So it's really important that
you're kind of stuck to that list.
Exactly, exactly. And the last thing I'll point out is Medicare Advantage plans add some extra benefits like dental and vision, silver sneakers, which is a no-cost gym membership for customers. So there are some extra things in a Medicare Advantage plan that you wouldn't see in original Medicare.
Some things to think about there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what to look for in a Medicare Advantage plan so we know it's the right one for us?
Definitely. So you want to look at premiums, first of all. It's important that you're going to pick a plan that has a premium that really fits into your budget. And then you want to look at coverage. So am I comfortable with the out-of-pocket maximum on that particular plan? And then, of course, you want to look at doctors, right? I mentioned that before. Are the doctors that I need in that network? And then don't forget about the prescriptions as well. Am I comfortable with the way that plan will cover my prescriptions?
Okay. And Medical Mutual has HMO plans and PPO plans. What's the difference?
We do. So the difference is the way the network works and then also the cost. So on an HMO plan, a health maintenance organization, you have to stay within that network unless it's an emergency or it's urgent care. And for that, you're going to pay a lower premium usually. On a PPO plan, you have that flexibility to get services outside of the network. You're going to pay a little bit more. But again, with that, your premium is likely to be higher.
Okay, so there's a lot to think about. So where can we go if we have more questions?
Great place to start is the federal government's website, which is medicare.gov. They have a very helpful tool called Medicare Plan Finder. You can put in the prescriptions you're taking, the pharmacies that are important to you, and it will evaluate the best plan for you. We also have the ability right on our website, at Medical Mutual's website, to enroll and evaluate our plans. And if you want to talk to somebody, call our 800 number, and we have licensed agents that are able to talk you through those plans, even get you in touch with somebody that would meet with you face-to-face as well. And then don't forget about asking your local insurance agent that may represent our plans.
All right. Sounds like there's places to go for help.
That's right.
So if you have a current Medicare plan, the question now is, should you stay or should you go? You have time to research and review before you're rendering your answer, but don't wait too long. Medicare Open Enrollment ends December 7th. My thanks to Abby O'Brien for making us aware of our options today.
Find out more about Medical Mutual of Ohio by visiting www.medmutual.com/go or call 1-844-606-5387. Up next, he's an American treasure. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, it's Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and we're here today to show you how to strengthen that core and the ever-important abdominal muscles. You ready to go?
Let's flatten those abs.
Let's do it. All right. We're going to do a basic crunch today. We're going to start lying flat on the ground. We want our feet flat as well with our legs bent at about a 45-degree angle. From here, you have two options. Either place your hands above your eyes, or you can give yourself a hug and cross your chest. All we're going to do is keep your chin pointed towards the ceiling, squeeze the abdominals, and bring your shoulder blades off the ground. We're looking for 15 to actually 20 repetitions here. All right, how you feeling, Lori?
Oh.
Keep them coming, come on. We need at least 3 to 4.
I can do it.
You got it, all right. We need at least 3 to 4 sets of these. Remember, slow and controlled movements, and you gotta remember to breathe. Do not hold your breath. You're looking good. 6 packs on the way. All right, everybody, now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
We know him as a comedian, an actor, a sometime dancer and singer, a friend to our troops, and a guy who really loved golf. Bob Hope is an American treasure, but he's also one of our own, having grown up right here in Cleveland. So what better place to present an exhibit of all of his accolades and accomplishments? Eric Rivet is here to help us say thanks for the memories. Eric is the curator of the exhibit that's at the Western Reserve Historical Society. So welcome to the show to talk about Bob Hope.
Thank you.
So while he might have called Cleveland home, we can't really take credit for this exhibit, can we?
That's right. So this is a traveling exhibit from the World Golf Hall of Fame and Museum in St. Augustine, Florida. And Hope was inducted into the Hall of Fame for lifetime achievement. I would call him a professional amateur in that he was an amateur, but he practically lived on the golf course. He was quite good. In fact, he used to joke that everything he did in Hollywood was just to make money to pay his greens fees.
That's a lot of golf. But the exhibit doesn't just cover his golf game, right?
That's right. That's one part of it. When you consider Bob Hope lived to be 100 years old, and probably 90 of those years was in the public eye. So it's a tremendous amount of material to cover. One of the things you will see in the exhibit is his connection to Cleveland. He was born in England, but he actually grew up around East 105th and Euclid.
Oh,
so just a couple of blocks from the museum. Something that's really especially relevant right now is he was a part owner of the Indians when they won the World Series in '48. And so one of the things you'll see in the exhibit is his championship ring.
Wow,
Sure.
that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's also other awards that are a part of the exhibit. So it covers so many areas of his interest, right?
It does. So of course he's best known for comedy. He spent most of his life working in Hollywood. During his lifetime, he received 5 honorary Oscars. You'll see one of his Academy Awards. You'll see one of his Emmys. But something that especially meaningful to me is you'll see his Congressional Gold Medal, which was awarded to him for his work entertaining the troops. In working with the USO over 50 years, it's estimated that he entertained more than 10 million servicemen and women during his lifetime.
Lots of wars that he took care
Absolutely.
of, helping our troops over there. So he was also a pal to presidents, right?
He was, yeah. Party affiliation didn't really seem to matter to him too much. Starting with Franklin Roosevelt during World War II, Hope was friends with 11 presidents. He played golf with most of them. And
so was he better than the presidents?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them had a lot of time on their hands. But he was, I don't think we'll ever see another entertainer that had a connection with presidents the way he did.
And there's so many great pictures, I'm sure, but it would be great to see him really in action, you know, like a performance.
Sure, well, you can. So all throughout the exhibit, there are several videos that cover various aspects of his life, from his time as an immigrant in Cleveland in the early 1900s to his rise to success through vaudeville, radio, film, television. And like we talked about, you'll see Bob Hope with the presidents, you'll see entertaining the troops, you'll see his work in Hollywood, and then you'll also see his life at home, his family life.
Oh, cool. So how long do we get to see this exhibit before it goes away?
It's open now. It opened about 2 weeks ago, and it'll be open through the end of June 2017. And I've just got to tell you, 21 years of working in museums on exhibits, and this is the most fun I've ever had with an exhibit.
Well, that's good. I hope it's fun for everybody who goes to see it, too.
I hope so, too.
All right. You have to hand it to Bob Hope. He was an all-around amazing entertainer. And now you can relive the many memories and moments of his life in and out of the spotlight by visiting the exhibit, Bob Hope, An American Treasure, at the Western Reserve Historical Society. My thanks to Eric Rivet for giving us a perfect preview.
Learn more by calling the Western Reserve Historical Society at 216-721-5722 or visit their website, www.wrhs.org. Next, we'll make the rights of heirs apparent.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back with trustworthy advice for beneficiaries. Eventually, we all face the day that a loved one passes away. If you are named in the will or the trust, what are your rights and what should you do to protect those rights? Here to discuss this issue is my law partner, Michael Solomon.
Hi, Lori.
Welcome back to the show. So when someone passes away, what's the first thing that happens as to the will and trust? Is there a reading of the will?
Well, that really only happens in the movies. We don't really gather everyone around and then take the will out and the trust out and start reading it to them. What we'll typically provide the beneficiaries with a copy of the will, a copy of the trust, and they do have a legal right to see all of that. And sometimes, depending on the facts, we'll bring some of the people in, maybe all of them in, and kind of tell them what's going to happen, the procedures, and what to expect in the documents.
Okay, so then what happens after that?
Well, let's assume you go through probate, for example. Let me focus mostly on the surviving spouse. Now, first, after a notice that the will has been probated comes out, you have 3 months to dispute, to contest the will. Now, that, by the way, applies not only to the surviving spouse, but to any of the potential heirs. So that's number one. But number two, a surviving spouse has some special rights. Number one, they can elect against the terms of the will and get between 1/3 and 1/2 of the probated estate. So even if the will says the assets go here, they can ignore the will and get that. A surviving spouse has a right to live in the primary residence for up to a year. So that's a special right. They have a right to inherit certain assets, like a car, for example. And they have a right to challenge, prenuptial agreements or separation agreements. All of these rights have very short time frames, so you have to be very careful not to lose those time frames.
Okay, so how about other beneficiaries?
Well, the other beneficiaries have rights also. They have a right to see the will and the trust. They have a right to dispute the will and the trust. They have a right to know what assets are in the estate. They have a right to do an accounting. They have a right to see to approve the distribution of the assets. So they have lots of rights. They have plenty of rights. You just need, again, there are time limits. So if you want to enforce your rights, you need to make sure you focus on those time limits.
Okay. Now, I know sometimes their trusts are drafted to last a long time. Like sometimes I'll have trusts that don't go out right to the children. They stay in trust until the grandchildren are there to take it. So what rights do grandchildren have?
Well, they can have a lot of rights, but one of the things you can do that's a little bit different from when the people are going to receive the assets later is you can say they don't automatically get a copy of the trust. They don't automatically get notices of an accounting of the trust. So they still have a right to ask for that stuff, but they don't automatically get it. But Ohio has a little provision in the law that most states don't have. You can actually draft a trust that provides, in this example you gave, the grandchildren don't know the existence of the trust. You keep it private and quiet. It's called a quiet trust.
I don't want to be one of those grandchildren.
That's right. So it doesn't happen that often. Most people don't do something like that. And in many aspects, it's not that practical, but it is, in very limited situations, a tool that some people can provide for.
All right. If you're the beneficiary of a will or trust, you should learn your rights and make sure they are protected. For more help, give Mike a call. The number's next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information or to schedule a speaker for your organization. Or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. Come back next week. But until then, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.